Hello and welcome to this guide on how to skip the Twin Emperor to Ouro and Cthulhu trash. It's a pretty easy skip once you get used to it. There's some safe spots along the way which we can use. All you need is having killed Twin Emperors, of course, and you need 3 people, at least one of them has to be a warlock, to go through, and they need invisibility potions for one of the skips. Also make sure that your warlocks actually have shards enough to summon the entire raid into Ouro's room. Otherwise, it's not that good. Here in Twin Emperor's room there's usually a lot of scarabs and shit that you can get some shards from. But if you've been progressing on Twin Emperors for a while and want to skip immediately after, chances are the warlocks are running low on shards, just to make sure. This is of course filmed on a private server, which means it might not work on Classic, but I'm fairly sure it will. I've heard of similar skips back in Vanilla. The first thing we will do is just to mark up these trash packs so we can keep an eye on where they are. Some of them do really awkward patrols, so you have to make sure they are in the correct spot. Like now, for instance. These purple packs here, they will just pack around this in a circle, and the star will go like hit this and into the alcove back here. So be very careful if there's a trash pack here, because they can pull you from behind, which is really bad. But you just follow these into the first safe spot, which is right behind here by the chest. And here is another trash pack which will go down here, cross over into the corridor and down this way. Let's just mark that up. There's also a trash pack in this tunnel here, and we need to make sure that they are in the correct position, which they are not. So mark these up as well and hurry back into the safe spot. That was close. Don't do that. But you need to mark up these trash packs that pat down here, because these have to be on their way back up the tunnel again, and these have to be either over here or here. Otherwise you can't go through. So you see these are coming down here, and they will turn around and walk up, and you have to like shadow them behind them, but just don't pull them. So when the green ones are coming down here, we can just skip like this and go behind these. The Mind Slayers will actually see through your invisibility, so be very careful of that. The next safe spot is in this blob here. It may not look like it is a safe spot, but it is. These will just go right past. They will come very close though. If you have people with you, be sure they stack on top of you, otherwise they can pull. Alright. So this is the next room. This is where we'll use the invisibility potion. This path will circle around, and you have to avoid these. There's a safe spot up here, and this is safe from both the path that goes back here and these that go in a circle. Now before you can actually use the invisibility potion, there is a path that is coming back from Ouro's room into this entrance here, and similarly to these, you need to shadow them back, so when they turn around you can follow them, and there's a safe spot to the left of this room. So all we have to do now is just wait for this path to show up. There they are. Mark these up, and we can actually we can also check that these are on their way back, and we just dismount and we use our invisibility potion here. And you just run through like this. This trash bag that comes over here, you don't really have to do anything against, but just hide here with your group and wait for the skull pack to go back again over to this entrance here. You can also skip some of this trash up to Cthulhu's room, but it is a bit more difficult to do. But you can do it. It's no problem. But as I said at the start, if you're progressing on Cthulhu, I would actually advise to just kill all this trash anyways, because you have to run through all the time. Unless the teleporter is up, of course. So these paths are gone, and we can now just enter Ouro's room. Pretty simple. When you're here, you can just stand here and you summon your entire raid and you go and kill Ouro. It's very important that you actually have wipe recovery here, soul stones, divine intervention, and so on, because you don't want to do this again. Also be careful when you're resing to not stay too close to the entrance, because as you see, these will come back, and if you're unlucky you can actually pull them. Ouro actually has a pretty small pull area or distance, so you can safely die just about everywhere in this room and just come back here and rest everybody and so on. For the skip to Cthulhu, it's a bit more harder, but it is completely doable. Now, as you can see, I still have a pretty lengthy cooldown, 8 minutes on my invisibility potions, but I can still use the lesser ones. Normally, if you come all the way here and you're doing Cthulhu Ouro, and you kill Ouro, usually the cooldown is up by the time you have to skip to Cthulhu. Also, as I said, you can also just get out of the instance and use the teleporter if the teleporter is up, because after you kill Cthulhu or Ouro, you can teleport directly to Cthulhu. So for the next skip, we have to wait for these to patrol backwards so we can shadow them into the next safe spot. An alternative way is also just to pull these two packs if the warlocks don't have enough shards, or you forgot invisibility potions or whatever. It's basically like 2 of these packs and the Anubisats, and it's pretty easy. But we don't want to kill unnecessary trash. Waste of time. Be careful of these chickens. They can see you from a mile away. So we just go across here, and these are the dangerous guys. They can be pretty hard to skip. Basically, we have to wait for these to turn around, and then we have to go across to the left side of this corridor, and there's a safe spot there. But it is a bit finicky, because you are very close to pulling this pack, and you're also quite close to pulling the chickens. So it might not work the first time. I sometimes mess it up as well. So this is the second, or the other safe spot. I'm not sure which. 4th, maybe 5th. And as you can see, they just go right past you. And then we just dismount and we use invisibility potion to skip these. And from here we just mount up and ride all the way to Cthulhu. So as you can see, it's pretty easy. These invisibility potions are quite cheap. I think the lesser ones are like 50 silver or something, and the normal ones are like a gold or a gold 20. But this will also change, I guess, on classic. I think it's a pretty useful skip. We've always used it for our raids. One of the bad things, I guess, about it is that you won't get any keys and coffers for all the idols that you will need. All the tier 2.5 says need idols and so on. So you might lack a bit on that part, but you know, as for just progressing on Cthulhu, this is so much quicker. Once you actually overgear this content, even the trash is becomes much easier, and you can farm it for keys and so on if you want. That is just about it. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. Goodbye.